One of the main themes or narratives that I have heard as we've gone through this sort of coronavirus event is that we cannot let fear lead us. I couldn't possibly agree more. God is in control. We cannot let fear drive our behaviors and our actions. So one might ask the question, why do we cancel church? And I want to name the fact that, in honesty, in times like this, is particularly when we want to be together. When we want to meet and sing songs of hope, when we want to study the Bible together, when we want to preach and pray together. It is the times of being together that we find hope, and we find our hearts settling and find more joy. So again, the question would be, Hunter, why cancel services? Let's take a step back and look at Proverbs 1, verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fear of the Lord, awe, respect, honor, trust. Trust is the beginning of wisdom. It then says, fools despise wisdom and instruction. We have trust and we have wisdom. And at first glance, it can almost seem like the two things go against each other. We're just going to blindly trust Jesus with anything, or we're going to trust wisdom. But we recognize that wisdom comes from God, and the two go together as opposed to standing in tension. And through these times, we need to live into both. First, I think it always comes down to trust. Can we trust God? In those moments where fear starts to overwhelm us, in those moments that says, some little part of us says, I need to go out and buy as much toilet paper as I possibly can. Those are the moments that we might take a step back, take a deep breath, and pray. Jesus, be in control. Jesus, help me to know that you are there. Grant me mercy. Grant me peace. We trust that God is in control. We also trust that God is moving in the midst of his calling in any given moment. In and through this coronavirus experience, we might sense God calling us to love our neighbor in a way that makes us cross boundaries that we've been asked to hold. And I think we need to ask ourselves, what does it look like? What is the best way to love? Is the best way in that moment to love a person by taking groceries to an elderly person, or are we exposing them to something? It's just a discernment process that we have to pray through. Wisdom. When wisdom rolls in, wisdom says that we need to listen. We need to listen to our healthcare professionals, our scientists, our government that tells us that social distancing is what we have to do to stop this virus. And that means we may not have church on Sunday mornings when we want to. Wisdom also tells us that we need to wash our hands for 20 seconds, even though that seems virtually impossible. Wisdom says that we will do these things. We will avoid unnecessary exposure, even though it's hard. Back to trust. Trust says God will be with us, even if we don't gather physically on Sunday mornings. That when we watch the video, we watch as a community together, and God is with us. Trust says that we need to find new ways to connect with each other. Trust says that we will still grow spiritually even if we can't get to church. Trust says that we will find new ways to meet Jesus. Trust says that our church will go on even though it seems kind of scary. Even though we might worry about our finances, even though we might worry about energy to do ministry and mission, God is with us and we will be okay. And wisdom says we will do what we need to do to stay connected. And that might mean online services. That might mean that we send out some video reminders just letting you all know how much we love you and care. It might mean that we seek new resources for prayer and Bible study. One of the things that Dean and I have been working on is a video series on Bible study. Maybe we can make them available and think about some new ways that we can study the Bible on our own. Wisdom says that maybe there's some questions that need to be asked in the midst of this. Is God trying to teach us something through the coronavirus? Is God inviting us to slow down? Is God trying to save us and save our planet by encouraging us to breathe? God is with us in hope and in wisdom. We put our faith, we put our trust in our Lord Jesus.